Did you not hear it?
Say, did you hear that, Mr. Rhodes?
No.
That wasn't funny.
Yes,
I'm not even being mean, it just wasn't funny.
Thank you.
You guys have watched too many sitcoms. You've got these like laugh tracks going off in your head. And then I had to just come and say,
I think you're
wasn't
just
funny.
irritated.
I think
no, I was irritated earlier when you guys were doing that now. I thought it was funny. Huh?
Too many roads.
No.
Funniest subject.
No, and they're so funny too. It is like watching a sitcom.
It's like The Office. People fall asleep.
But Americans have laugh tracks playing.
We need to borrow Mr. People's buttons and like have sound effects. They're all.
Okay, so
the buttons.
oh, here's the deal. What we're gonna do? The calculator conundrum has been solved.
Excuse me, what?
Because I'm like, I want you to be able to use your calculator. The problem is, I want you to memorize the formula. What's the formula? The formula is for total increase in money supply equals D. What does D stand for?
Deposit.
Not Stop trying to make it happen. It's not gonna happen. Deposit. Initial deposit. Times 1 over.
Actually, you said
RR.
RRR.
like a parrot.
Required reserve, okay? Reserve ratio, okay. Now,
Yeah.
so what you're gonna do on the test, before we get started, I have you get out a sheet of paper, write down that formula, so that people who've got it in their calculators don't have an advantage, okay? Because I want you to memorize it. So before you get to use your calculator, you gotta write that down.
Wait, there's math now.
Wait,
It's not that hard.
I thought this was
No,
history.
no,
Stop.
I can't do it.
Mr. Rhodes, I cannot.
Shut up.
My brain.
Shut
Did you just call me to
Wait,
shut
shut up
up?
is not being shut up.
Wow, Mr. Rhodes.
The Princess Diaries?
Yes.
You've seen that?
No, I've seen parts. You can't have
He's seen the whole thing, you know it.
That's a great movie.
Several times.
Okay, so where we left off, you understand now how the money multiplier works, right?
Yeah.
And what is the key to understanding the money multiplier? You gotta understand that money can be anything. Anything can serve as money, okay? Including electronic credits in the checking account. Okay, so when a bank loans out money more than it's got, that it's creating money. Okay, because you can write a check for something too, and they will accept it. Okay.
All systems go.
Yeah, subscribe.
Sunday morning.
This is what I go on YouTube to watch.
I have Alexis.
Now, this is for all the people not
Their
here.
last.
Okay, so shout out to
Do you want to like read?
Danny and the soccer team.
Oh yeah.
Somebody say something Marxist to make Danny feel at home.
You're a socialist.
Yeah, there we go. That was not good.
Down with capitalism.
Yeah.
Rockefeller didn't save the
So the world
whales.
unite. Okay. Now that we know the money, but now we talked about why the money multiplier is not a good predictor of how much money is going to grow, right? Because people are not machines.
Yeah.
So that's why I say econ is not really a science, but we just go with what it says, okay? So now that we understand that, we can understand the 3 tools of money creation. And I already talked about changing the discount rate, right? Yeah, I did, yeah. And I talked about changing the reserve requirement, right? But we don't do that often, because it's got huge effects. My understanding is one of the reasons we had a double dip recession during the Great Depression. Okay, other stuff going on, but one of the reasons, the Fed, because the economy is actually growing, the Federal Reserve said, oh, we're going to have a bubble, it's going to pop, we better slow. And I understand that's why they did it. They changed the reserve requirement. That's got huge, why is it going to have huge effects? Because if you lower how much banks have to keep, they can loan out, what, more or less money? Think about it. If you lower the amount they have to keep on reserve, then they can loan out more. Does that make sense? Now, So if we go from 10% to 5%, and some guy puts in 10,000 bucks, then the bank can loan out, instead of 9,000, you can loan out 9,500. But remember, that 9,500 gets deposited and then loaned out, and so an infinite number of times that goes over and over. So even if it's just 1% change in how much is on reserve, by the time it snowballs, that's kind of a huge change in money supply in the end, right? So we don't mess with that. Kind of like we don't mess with the Constitution. Both serve as what part of the building? Foundation. Don't mess with the foundation. Okay? Now, the type of change that the Fed uses, the tool the Fed uses most often is open market operations. This is for fine tuning. Okay? So, change number one, changing the discount rate, and tool number one, changing the discount rate, and tool number three, open markets. Those are actually how much money the Fed has thrown out there that is then subject to the money multiplier. Number two actually changes the multiplier itself. So let's talk about the third thing, using open market operations. What do you do in the market, open market? What do you do? Two things. Who goes to a market?
Consumers.
Buyers and sellers. So, the open market operation is where the government, the Fed, buys and sells bonds. Now, think about this. This is one of those things you don't want to try to memorize. It'll throw you up. You just got to think through step by step and you can get it. If the Fed, okay, yesterday I asked for 3 minutes, turned out to be 5 minutes of attention. That's kind of pushing it for Americans, I know. But can I get 2 minutes of attention from my American students?
Just do.
Okay?
I think I can do that.
You can? Okay.
Looked at these guys.
Okay, so, are you timing? Are you looking at your watch? He's got time.
I don't have a
Oh my
watch.
gosh, I saw that.
Go,
Your time's running out.
We're goofing off. Okay.
You better go.
If I'm the Fed, you are the economy, you're the people. I want more money out there. Will I buy bonds or will I sell bonds? Let's try this. If I buy bonds, well, somebody said sell first. If I sell bonds, what do I give you?
The bond.
Bonds. What do you give me?
Money.
So is there more or less out there now?
Less.
If you give me money, is there more or less money among you? Less. So if I want more money out there, what do I do?
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Now this is my fault. This is you guys taking so long.
We're trying.
I got it right the first time, you confused me.
You did, but everybody's got different answers. I want to make sure you
1 minute to
have some
go.
conviction.
1 minute.
Okay, so if I sell bonds to you, I give you bonds, what do you give me in return? Money. So now, what had that done to the money supply? Shrank it. If I want to grow the money supply, what do I have to do? Buy bonds. So you give me bonds, what do I have to give you in return? Money. So now what do we have out there?
More money.
More money. Does that make sense? So what we can do fine tuning. We just need a little bit more money out there. Let's buy a couple bonds. Okay? Or, oh, the economy's growing a little too much. So let's pull a little out. We'll sell some bonds.
How much would these usually be?
Alright, let's get a little too much in the weeds.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just a history teacher, high school level, okay? So I don't know. But you get the idea. Well, the thing is, you'd have to know, let's say I buy from y'all $5 million of bonds, right? So you give me the bonds, I give you $5 million. How much effect is that going to have? Depends on what? The money multiplier. So what happens is I go to your account.
Hello.
Hello? Thank you. I go to your account.
Is it me?
Yes. How am I supposed to take that soon? It's like another jackpot.
I needed
This is my
sleep.
class.
Okay.
Okay.
You're in the right place.
So, what happens? I put money in your account. The Fed does. Where does the Fed get that money?
Magic.
It's magic. I go to your computer and I just boop, and it does make that noise. And all of a sudden, whoop, you got more money. Because why can't I just magically create this money? Because what type of money do we have?
Yeah.
Beyond.
And what does it have backing it up?
Nothing.
It's magic. Okay,
It's magic.
does that make sense? I was thinking that.
Were you really?
Yeah.
No way.
That's all, we gotta play it now.
Okay. Y'all see how that works? But then, once we throw it out there, the money multiplies. So we give it to them, but then what happens? Banks loan it out, and then people deposit, and it grows. Y'all with me? So you don't want to pour as much money. If you say, I want 10 billion more out there, do you loan out 10, do you buy 10 billion of bonds? No, you don't buy the amount, I'm sorry, if you say you want 10 billion more money supply, you don't buy 10 billion. Because you throw out 10 billion, what's gonna happen?
Much more.
Can you do
Okay.
it again?
Is that a valid answer for the test? If we're just like,
Yeah, can I just, like,
16?
They'll be like, correct.
You got it.
Section 3. This is where it gets really interesting. Money and the economy. And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about money supply. We mean how much money is there circulating, right? Okay. Well, on the videos they've got these freeze frame, you know, a slide. They're probably gonna have me like this or something. I told y'all this. Oh my gosh! I told you yesterday. It's a typo.
You made a
I put a 2 instead of
mistake.
a 1.
You made a
You made a
mistake.
mistake.
That makes
Mr.
I did it to make you happy because you guys love to see that.
You're
Okay. So, what difference does it make if the Fed increases or decreases the money in circulation? 2 main reasons. Number 1, price stability. As the amount of goods and services produced increases, the money supply has to increase to the same extent so that the same quantity of dollars will purchase the same quantity of goods and services. Y'all with me? If you don't have this, and the money supply does not grow as fast as the economy, what will you have? By the way, it's a typo. Another typo, does that make you happy, Bree?
Yeah.
Another typo. Otherwise, you will have either inflation or it says recession, but really, what I should have said was, what's the opposite of inflation? Deflation. So if the money supply grows a lot faster than how much stuff there is in the economy, you'll have inflation. If the economy grows faster than the money supply, deflation. Now, I'm not so sure deflation is a bad thing, but we'll just go with it. Let's go with what the book says, okay? And the book and people, the common narrative is we need to keep the amount of money to goods about even. I'm not sure I agree, but I'm not going to get into it. Okay. Reason number 2, control of interest rates on loans. Now, what runs the economy? Do we have just some smart people sitting in a room, texting people and IMing and Snapchatting people telling them what to do? No.
Because that's.
Get out, Bree.
That's a command economy. Is that going to work? Remember the analogy I gave you? You got 2 soccer teams. You got one soccer team, the coach is yelling at everybody, hey, player number 5, I want you to move forward 25 feet, move to the left 3 feet, kick the ball to player number 4. Wait, player number 4, I want you to move ahead 30 feet, because I'm really smart, I'm saying this really fast. And then I move over 2 feet, kick, receive the ball. The other team is just looking around to find out what's going on and makes their own decisions. Which team is going to win? The second team, right? Who are driven by themselves, by their own information they're picking up from what they look around, okay? So, command economies, you can have really smart people running them, they're still not going to work. Why does an economy, why does a free market work? Because what controls everything?
Prices.
Prices. Hurricane hits New Orleans, automatically, some guy in Siberia goes out with a chainsaw and chops down a tree. Why? Did his cousin in New Orleans phone him and said, hey, we need... No, what happened? Well, instantly, price of wood in New Orleans went up. So this guy chopped down a tree and it heads its way. He may not, for all we know, he's never even heard of New Orleans. Okay, even if he has, maybe he doesn't know there was a hurricane. He just knows, ooh, price went up. You with me? Okay, so what's the price of money? When you borrow money, what do you have to pay? You have to pay back the principal plus interest. So what's the price of money? Interest rates. Does that make sense? If interest rates are lower, that's a low price, sending the signal, go borrow a lot. Interest rates are higher, what do people do? Borrow.
Less.
Okay, you're droning on me if you can't say this. Snap, snap, let's wake up. Okay, if interest rates are high, are you going to borrow as much money? No, sending the signal, hey, money is scarce. Because interest rates are the price of money. Okay, so, consequently, we can do a supply-demand curve for money. And those of you at home, this is in your book. Okay, there's a curve here. You probably can't see it on the screen.
You did the
So,
exact page.
Now what's, ooh, I should. One, no. That would be really sad if I did. The y-axis, what's on the y-axis? Price. So what do we put for the price? Interest rates. Go with me? What's on the x-axis? Quantity. Now, what is different about this supply-demand curve? What looks odd here?
No.
Which of these is not a curve?
The one that's
Page,
going,
what is it?
159.
the
One
vertical.
fifty.
Yeah, 159, 160, that's where.
Why is this supply curve, why is it vertical? What does a normal supply curve look like?
A curve.
It's curved. Why? Because the higher the price, the more people will supply. Lower the price, the less will supply. Does that make sense? Why then is the money supply vertical? Doesn't matter what the price, it's the same quantity. Because the Fed does not care about making a profit. So it's going to keep the same money supply no matter what. No matter what the price, same money supply. So it can move it around like a tool, just wherever it wants it. Y'all with me? What does that lead us to find out? What will interest rates be? Where will you find interest rates here?
Equilibrium.
Yeah, wherever the two intersect. So if the Fed wanted higher interest rates, what would it have to do?
Decrease.
Yeah. Remember at Community Heights we saw this happening. Okay, the economy was overheating, inflation was too much, so Paul Volcker shrank the money supply. What happened to interest rates? Interest rates went up. Y'all with me? What if you want to get the economy going a little? Increase the money supply, and then what happens to the price, the interest rate? It goes, y'all with me?
Yeah.
Okay, now, what is the danger of this? Why is this dangerous? The Fed doesn't continually print more money to stimulate the economy because that would stimulate the economy too much, causing it to overheat. What does that mean? Well, here, look up here, we have a market for money, but we also have a market for goods and services. In the goods and services market, remember, what is demand?
Other people buy stuff.
Ability to buy, right? If you have more money, can you buy more stuff?
Yeah.
So that if we had a giant helicopter of cash, we'll call it the copter o' cash, and we went about the country sprinkling money about the populace, what would people do with that money?
Spend it.
Spend
They
it.
go buy stuff. That's called demand. So what would happen to the demand curve if we created more money?
Go
Go to the right.
New intersection, right? Now, what happens if you keep doing that? You're a dictator and you want everybody happy. You want good, let the good times roll. We'll just lots of money for everybody. Talk about boom, but what ends up happening? Notice, at first, if you were way back here, right, it takes just a little bit of price increase for a lot of quantity increase. That's the economy growing. We're producing all that much more quantity, right? But what happens after a while?
It starts not.
Notice in the economy, the supply curve is shaped like this. What does that mean? Well, why is it shaped like this? Because if you're way back here, that means not much is being produced. You got a bunch of unemployed people. You got factories sitting around unused. So as soon as the price goes just up a little bit, you start hiring people, putting factories to work, boom, a lot of growth. But what happens over here? Everybody, you got like 1% unemployment. Almost everybody's got a job. You can't find workers. All the factories are going 24/7. You throw more money on it, they just can't produce anymore. So it takes a whole bunch of price increase to just a little bit of quantity. And eventually, you just keep throwing money on it. We're working all the time. Machines are wearing out. But we can't keep up. what's happening to the price? Just a little bit of money increase, and what happens to the price? Skyrocket, hyperinflation. Do you remember watching Commanding Heights? We saw this happening in country after country. I got a dictatorship, I want everybody happy, so I promise low prices but high wages. How am I going to do that? I'll just create the money to make up the difference. I keep throwing money out there, and I end up overheating the economy. And we get hyperinflation. With hyperinflation, the economy falls apart, no one's saving, because the money they get back will be worthless. So I don't have any money to buy machines to replace the old ones. Everything's falling apart. Y'all with me? American, in the 70s, we had inflation. We thought it was really bad, like 20%. And so Paul Volcker knew the only way to stop that was stop printing money. And he was right. It saved us, but what happened? When you stop printing money, what happens? People stop buying, and we've got a recession. That's why they didn't want to do it. But Colombia, they didn't have 20%. What did they have? 25,000%. Okay. Why is this something to be worried about? If you overheat the economy, we can't do that forever. We're getting hyperinflation. Then you hit on the brakes too quickly, you're going to cause a recession that could be really deep. Okay? To cool down an economy, the Fed can decrease the rate of the money supply, causing interest rates to rise. People have less money, they buy less. However, overheating the economy followed by overcooling may have caused what? Remember this from last year? The Great Depression. And remember, why is that a big deal? Because what did the Great Depression create? World War II and the Holocaust. Okay? So people yawn when we talk about monetary policy. But monetary policy is a big deal. Millions of people can die because of bad monetary policy. But we're not going to talk, is anybody going to make a movie about that? Anybody make a short story or a poem about that? No, it's not romantic. It's not a big deal. But this is, there doesn't have to be a single starving person in this world. If anybody's starving in this world, it's because of bad government and war, which is another government policy. Okay? If we can just get the government not to mess things up, and this is one example. Okay? So monetary policy may seem boring, okay, and we'll have a whole bunch more attention for a sex scandal, but which is really going to hit people where it hurts. Monetary policy, but it's boring, so we're not going to talk about it. Okay, any questions? Okay. Everybody, like and subscribe!
Subscribe.
If you're a communist, subscribe.
Subscribe.